This is episode 116 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is the Mileage Tracker. That's on bye week. OSG. How's it going, sir?
Chilling, man. You're right. Bye week, so it was good to chill at home this time and then just enjoy the weekend. Didn't get to go to the USA game, so a little unfortunate didn't get to do that. But just relaxed as always. Good to relax and not have to travel so much. But get back to it next weekend, though, for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that game too, mostly because of Coco, but it was also the fact that Pochettino started coaching the national team. It's definitely a good factor too, but I wasn't able to make it. Man, also a bad week just to be in Oklahoma, honestly. Just being a Frisco fan, a Sooners fan, man. All you gotta say.
Yep. I did the Texas soccer game. Texas beat Oklahoma 1-0, and then football. That was a smashing 34-3. So yeah, it was been good week. For being a Longhorn. And I always I don't always, but I go to the Texas Longhorn games down at the UT, and they're free. And it was a pretty good crowd against Oklahoma, and it was a great, beautiful goal. Only one goal, 1-0. But that's the way Texas plays. They're not very threatening attack wise, but they just win the game. So it was fun though. But I think we got a lot to talk to you about on this episode, huh? Even though it's a quiet week, it's not so quiet, is it?
Yeah, it's always a busy time here in Noodle Time, and it's even though we had one game to talk about, there's still news that happened like throughout the week, and we're just here to discuss it here on Monday night. So, without further ado, man, let's get into it. First, we're gonna get to the Dynamo because there's a few things going on that happened before decision day this upcoming weekend, and the first one we're gonna talk about is the wild card situation and heading into right after the second to last Animal game, we were still subject to playing the wildcard game, meaning that we could potentially be playing an extra game just to get into the best of three series. And because LAFC beat Vancouver on the road, it mathematically put us out of that picture. So we are no longer playing the wildcard game. So we are going straight to the best of three. We still don't know who we're playing. It still has to be decided through decision day. But at the end of the day, I'm okay.
Hey, yeah. We'll see what LA is going to bring. We're expecting a full house, so expect a sellout for an 8 o'clock Saturday night game. So it's not going to be hot. The sun's going to be down. It's going to be comfortable. No Astros, so you're not worrying about anybody else being downtown. So no reason not to be there. If you haven't got your ticket, then you're going to pay a little bit to get your ticket now. But that's all right. The tickets still aren't bad. So get you a ticket. Let's go to the game. It's the last game of the season, and it's the next to last home game of the season right now. So unless we advance in the playoffs. So come on, man. What y'all doing? And we don't know what we're going to get from LA, but they're going to be pretty good regardless. It seems like Hector Herrera is going to be back and he'll be ready to go. Will he play 90 or will he just play a 60? I'm hoping it's kind of 60. Get him in there, get acclimated back again. But hey, Dynamo versus Galaxy, decision day. And I think we kind of needed to hold to that fifth instead of becoming eighth and having to play Galaxy on the, well, not seventh. I mean, yeah, whichever. It doesn't matter. We're gonna be playing RSL, and it's just gonna be an absolute battle. That's the way the universe is gonna see it.
And I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be okay with playing RSL. but
Yeah,
so
well,
yeah,
it
I
shouldn't be.
100% I I 100% expect LA Galaxy to come out with all they have because they are still battling for the first seed in the Western Conference, and they're playing well. They are pretty much contesting that spot against LAFC, so they're gonna go for the win here or draw. But we gotta go out there and try to get that high seed too.
Yeah. That is a factor that LA can still finish the second place. So whatever. Who knows? But let's just fight, man. Let's just fight. We'll see what happens, and I think we'll be ready. We're at home. We'll have the crowd. Week off. I think we'll be ready. I won't. I think it's gonna be one of those crazy games, though, for damn sure, as it always is on decision day against the friggin' Galaxy for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, and also just revolving around decision day. There's been a lot of things going on with the club. Particularly, they've been showing up. They've been hosting a lot of events. they hosted the Boots Gala and also like a separate press conference that we got a lot of nuggets to talk about, and I'm sure you're ready for that.
Yeah, man. So like we'll leave the boots to Herman. He was there in attendance, and he's working on some videos as we speak currently right now. So uh, those of you that are listening, you'll check it out. You go check out the profile. By the time you listen to this, you'll probably see a couple little clips from when Herman was at the Boots Gala or whatever it is, the charity event. Also on Friday morning, it was the World Cup 26 kind of press conference with the Sports Authority and the Houston Dynamo and kind of Ted Siegel, Tim Howard, and Chris Canetti. Chris Canetti being with the Sports Authority, all kind of spoke, and it was interesting. Canetti, first off, world he's the intern president or whatever. So I don't know how a lot of people feel about that. Actually, I do know how a lot of people feel about that. So
Yeah.
it's interim, and hopefully they're not pressing to hire him. But it does seem like he's willing to listen to the people that know what they're doing and help the situation. So he may have been bad for us back in the past, but he may be trying to do something good now. So it looks like Tim Howard and Ted Siegel are probably in a good situation. But they're talking about what's coming up with the World Cup 2026 here in Houston, and all the improvements they need to make, and the improvements they want to make, and the community impact and improving things at Shell and HSP for sure, because they want to host a team too. Where this is you know Venezuela. Let's say they make the World Cup, their home base could be here in Houston, and Shell be their home base practicing at HSP, and next thing you know, Foxtrot's coming to Austin a little more. I mean, to Houston a little more often, and leaving Austin because his team's going to be there for a month. He may be
Yeah, I
camping
kind of have no
out at the
choice
tip.
there, but yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah, so that's something. So Ted promised improvements on Shell. Didn't say what they were, and improvements on HSP, and it's also improvements not just for the World Cup, but for the team as well to want to improve players' situation that they're training and they're warming up, and then to lure other players here, like, hey, these are our facilities, man. You're gonna like our facilities. You're gonna like what we're doing here, and check it out. It'll be a draw and a lure, and Houston's already a lure, and the world knows about Houston, so we just got to sell them on coming here and being a part of what our project. So that's a few things that Ted mentioned about what they are. He didn't say. We'll just have to wait and see whenever it's all right. We're gonna start doing this right now. Obviously, it'll be during off season, so we'll see what the first move is during the off season here. HSP, you can kind of do it whenever you want. You got to work around the teams though at the same time. Because both Dash, Dose, Dynamo all train out there, man. But so continued improvements and everything like that. So it's good, but the player accessibility to community that the Dynamo and the Dash already performed, they're I think he's right. He said they're one of the best among the teams in Houston to get their players out there to the public. And I kind of want to agree. I always see something with the Dynamo and Dash, even though this is what we're supposed to do. I don't see too much with the Texans and the Rockets and the Astros here and there, but they're doing more HEB commercials and this and that. They may be doing more, but player accessibility. They're trying to improve the community impact where they're with the youth organizations and getting more out to the clubs, and the Sports Authority doing the same thing. They said they kind of had the same concept, and they're running both in their own patterns and doing a couple things different here and there. So sounded good. I hope it turns out to be good, man. But I think it will 2026 and then 2027 with the Women's World Cup following behind it, man. It's going to be something special. It's going to be cool. I don't know what you think
The,
about that.
yeah, there's the Dynamo and Dash. They're just in the middle of all these things. Of course, the main one that I'm mostly just concerned about is just community outreach, because they could definitely use more relevance in Houston. More people need to know about the team that's playing like right across Minute Maid Park, and they just gotta keep working on that. And one of the main things that I've been very, very favorable of, for just like giving a lot of credit, is just Ted Seagal, and just immediately getting into the soccer scene in Houston. Of course, it's in the World Cup community, right? Like pretty much as soon as he became the majority owner of the club, like he's just been investing 100%, not just his money but also his time in in the community itself. And of course, Chris Kennedy, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about him because of stuff that has done in the past when AG was still majority owner of the club, and I definitely understand that for sure. But the one thing that fans have to consider is the fact that Chris Kennedy was in the World Cup committee as soon as it started, like day one, and like even before Houston was chosen as a host city. So like I don't like this has nothing to do with the Dynamo per se, and like because as soon as he moved on for that, of course, there's a lot of valid points out there when it comes to he did this bad thing back in the day, but right now we just gotta give credit where credit's due. Like he has been working for the community still. I've seen him at Dynamo and Dash games. Like even this year, like I've seen him in the stands supporting the team no matter what with his family, and he still cares a lot, like to an extent. And it's not just because of stuff that's done back then, but as of now, like he's still invested, kind of like Ted Seagal is. They're both in the World Cup committee, and they helped Houston become a host city for the World Cup in 2 years from now. So
Yeah.
it's something to consider. And like I said before, everyone is entitled to their own opinion about Chris Kennedy, but I'm just telling it like it is right now, as far as I've seen.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's two different jobs. So we remember what he did, but so we're hoping that he doesn't do the same here. But like I said, two different jobs, two different personal aspects of it. I think the previous one was more personal gain. This one isn't personal gain at all. You have to do your job to keep your job in this situation. As the back in his old job, he had a little more leeway. But so, like I said, I listened to the press conference for all three of them, and I felt like he was adhesive to not adhesive, but adhesive to what Tim Howard and Ted Siegel was talking about. And Ted Siegel's a serious man too, so you better listen. And then Tim Howard's right there, and you respect him, and you know him already. So yeah, it just makes sense. So Chris Kennedy, we'll believe in you until you do us wrong, but we'll be watching. Be watching, man. And just to add, Tim wants us to be everywhere,
Yeah,
but what that means, whatever. But he'll get us out there. Another thing to add with the World Cup, there will be a fan fest in Houston. Chris Ganetti's going to be a part of that, and he's going to be working on fan fest location and all that good stuff, and get transportation to fan fest and to and from fan fest because that'll obviously be different. So they'll be adding different things there. So that'll be something to look forward to. Not just if you can't go to the game, you can at least go to the festival where there'll be thousands of people there enjoying and having fun, and it could be 100,000 people down there chilling and having fun. So be ready for it and have fun. And then another thing, since it was during the press conference, they did ask a couple of questions about Dynamo and Dash. The main thing that stood out to me is the Dash GM and head coach search. Ted even mentioned that as soon as he was done with that press conference, he's going to turn around and continue his general manager interview. So it's like he had something lined up for that afternoon as already as well. He is looking for somebody specific, knows the NWSL, but not just not specifically to the NWSL, knows the game itself as in the world's game, and from the women's perspective, and knows the women's game. Definitely going to have that leadership. So that was a must. Definitely has to have that leadership. Someone that is going to come in and provide that trust automatically. And you know the name, and you're just gonna feel good about the situation that you're putting yourself in. You're going to believe a lot easier, and leadership's going to be something that you're going to have to maintain over the time because what the Dash have gone through, the front office, the players, the staff, the coach, everybody. So you have to hit this one on the mark. So they're going to take their time. They're going to work on it. They're interviewing. Ted Siegel is very involved. Jessica O'Neill is obviously involved. I imagine even Tim Howard probably he's looking at it too, since he's back in New York already, but he was there, so I'm sure he was putting his hands in it. And Ted's probably gonna be like, get a round up a few more finals, and then Ted and Jessica and Tim will come together and get us a good one. And then from there they'll go and they'll find the coach. So GM's first, obviously, and it was a good thing that they talked about it, and because like we've been saying, we haven't been hearing a word from nobody. So good thing that
yeah.
question was asked to Ted and Ted answered. So other than that, that's it from the press conference. That's good news. No details other than that they're doing it. They're searching. That's the type of GM that they're searching for, and then they'll do the head coach afterwards. So, they may be searching for a head coach, but they're going to get that GM first before they hire that head coach. That's pretty much 100% secure. Don't blame them.
and we've been asking for communication, and this helps. At a press conference that where like Tim Howard has just been open about it. It's great. Like I just wish like it was just like made out sooner, but at the end of the day, we have updates, which is great, and they just better have a good hire because I'm tired of just being in this situation, and we've already talked about it for like the past 5 episodes. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
like you said,
yeah,
you're tired of waiting for information, and I've given a deadline. So you're just gonna have to be patient and wait to that deadline, and then we can both be impatient. So as I've set that deadline, a couple of things have come out, and we were like, okay, cool, thank you. So it'll start coming. They've got 2 games left now, so the deadline is in 2 games. So we'll see what happens after that deadline. But I imagine not too far after that last game, it could be any time now. But a GM will be hired relatively soon. But don't expect to wake up tomorrow and be like, is today the day? No, just relax, drink your coffee, and then you'll see the news come across your phone.
yeah, and there's still plenty of that to talk about. Like right after we talk about those because we do have an update on those. Of course, they didn't play this week, but we finally have an opponent for the Western Conference quarterfinal game, and that's going to be the Town FC, also known as San Jose Earthquakes too, but they're branded this year, and we'll be playing away this Sunday, and that's going to be at 5 p.m. So it's a big one.
So that was funny. Obviously the top 3 people, top 3 teams get to pick who they want to play. The top 3 seeds get to choose who they want to play, and that's being North Texas, St. Louis, and then the Town FC being the 3rd seed because they won their division. Because there's still actually technically 4 divisions and just 2 conferences. North Texas, with their first selection, they did not pick us. They chose somebody out west and made them travel. And then St. Louis, who I was kind of expecting them to pick us, picked somebody out west as well and made them travel. And then I was like, well, I mean, if St. Louis ain't going to pick us, is Town smart enough to let Tacoma pick us? I mean, not let Tacoma pick us. We end up with Tacoma pretty much. And
No,
it
no.
turned it out being, well, they chose us. And they chose us because they want revenge, because we have played them one time this season back on May 3rd. My birthday happened to be. The game was 1-1. The Town FC scored first. And then in the brilliance of, man, 96 minutes, right? The 96 minutes. So the brilliance of extra time, a Diego Gonzalez golazo. And it was just a
Yep.
brilliant from way outside the box. And he just puts it perfect in the upper left hand corner. It was a brilliant goal. I had to go back and look at all the goals of the year, but it's definitely got to be a nominee for one of the goals of the year. Going back and look at it, that made it 1-1. Set it in the penalty kicks. Penalty kicks, we didn't miss one. 5-3, and get that extra point, that double. So in San so we already played there. We're familiar with it. We're familiar with that team. They do have a couple of high profile midfielders to look out for. So they are a good team. Remember, they finished in 3rd. They have chose us. So Jeremy Hurdle's going to be ready. The team's going to be ready. Exxon Arzu was in that game and it was pretty dangerous last time. So our lineup's a little bit different. No Achara with us this time, so it'll be Silla going crazy up top, making being dangerous. So man, like he said, like Fox said, 5 o'clock on Sunday. It'll be on Apple TV. Make sure y'all are watching and rooting the boys on. We're trying to get out of the first round for the first time ever. So playoffs are
Yeah.
fun. It's our 3rd year in a row. We're not playing Tacoma, so we have an opportunity to win.
And who knows? Maybe we play Tacoma or North Texas in the next round, and it's gonna
Ah,
be even better. But knock on
yeah,
wood, we'll see.
yeah. We just need that
But
game before Tacoma to get us kickstarted so we can beat Tacoma. And I think we can beat Tacoma. This team's good enough. They have a lot of skill. Just can they perform at the time when kickoff? So uh, I think we can, man. And they're feeling good about themselves. They made it in. They were the 9th seed starting last on decision day, and uh, Real Monarchs messed up, and Dynamo did not. And the celebration was on in the locker room after the game, and they were dancing and they were partying, having a good time. So good for them boys. They're in a good mood, and I hope it shows out on the field next Sunday or this Sunday.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to that because, like we said before, the boys had a pretty bad start of the year, and they turned things around, and they're looking like a much better team on the field. And this game against the town is going to be massive. So you guys better be supporting the boys, watching that game on on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, and it's going to be amazing.
And Coco was playing with Panama, like you mentioned, against USA, and then not Diego, sorry, Sebastian Rodriguez
Xavier,
is with
Sebastian. Okay.
Mexico, playing in Poland right now, but he'll be back a couple of days before the playoff game. Thankfully, I believe. Yeah, whichever. And then of course Xavier Valdez, he got his 5-0 clean sheet for Dominican Republic, so he had a good game as well. And then David Garcia today playing for his club in his country scored two races in beating Venezuela. Sorry, or Ecuador. My bad. Beating. I just saw the colors and was like, yeah, I know those. But they beat Ecuador. Um, so good for them, and the academy's having a good time. Shout out to Jeremy Hurdle because I saw him post the David Garcia highlights today, so I shared them as well. Nice to know.
Yeah, I gotta get caught up with that because I didn't see the highlights yet, but I gotta see it after this.
It's on your Instagram story.
Gotcha. Yeah, I gotta check it out. But yeah, man, that was those. Let's talk about Dash because I was hyped, man. I was hyped last night. I was hyped watching that game. The girls did a pretty good job beating San Diego Wave 2-0 on the road. That was a very solid game.
That was freaking awesome. I didn't know what to expect, especially when what was the new formation. So let's just talk about that first. No Fran Alonso now. Ricky Clark has freedom to do what he wishes now, and he can run this team as the head coach now, even though he's an interim. You don't want to change too much because then that's just you're throwing too many kinks. But you can change things up. So the formation has changed already. He's a 4-4-2, so a little bit of different style, same kind of push, but. It worried me when I saw the lineup, and I was like, "Hold on, we got no strikers." So I'm like, I imagine Barb being like a cam. I was like, is Yuki our striker? And sure shit not she was. So it was Yuki and Barb playing up top and then the 4-4-2. And so I was glad to play four defenders. I want the four defenders. I'm good with that. Let's keep playing the four defenders. So but I was a little curious about that lineup. I was a little curious as to what we were going to do when going into that game. I was confident coming into this game and like, okay, we could beat San Diego. San Diego's a shit show. Wherever Maria goes, shit goes with her. So sorry, Maria. I guess it's I don't know how that happens. The universe is just following you right now, but good thing you're gorgeous though. Still, play me a little guitar, please. Sing me in a little bit, but uh, so yeah. But going into the game was like, all right, let's see what's going to happen. They don't have a full house either, so the fans aren't going to be exactly there. But we are 0-3 in Orange, playing on the road prior to this game as well. So there was that factor.
No, insanity. And yeah, just going back to the lineup, I was expecting, like, for the past few games, I've been expecting Yuki to have a pretty good role. And in hindsight, it turned out that way. But of course, no bias for Bartman. She's been having a blast for like the past few games. She's been getting more involved, but yeah, it's just that like in this game, like just like how you said it, like more of as a cam, she's been having more ways to express herself, and she's just been managing to get to the channels and just finding more opportunities.
Yeah, she played as a right forward this time, and Yuki played as the left forward. So you didn't just have a striker, or and you didn't have a cam. You actually had forwards, and it was a little different. And Barb, she moves, she rotates around that field. She makes herself available. Love the way she plays. And Dressa does the same thing. Just Dressa doesn't follow through when she gets mad. That's her only problem.
Yeah.
Barb can get dangerous. She chases the player down sometimes and fouls them. like calm down, girl. But I liked it. It was interesting to see the formation, to see how it played out, and it played out well. It created a few chances. It defended San Diego. San Diego didn't get nothing off that was really disturbing to Jane at all. Jane continued to make her saves, setting more records. I don't know if she actually got the record in this game because she didn't have to make as many saves as usual, but she'll definitely get that record before the end of the season for most saves in a season. But it was great. And then our first penalty kick of the friggin' season is awarded to us. And I didn't think it
That's
was
insane.
a
That's
penalty to
insane.
begin with.
Yeah.
VAR went and looked at it. And I'm like, this isn't a penalty, but she took forever. They wanted her to look at it. I think they wanted her to call it. And so penalty kick, and Barb gets the call. And she puts it, another good penalty kick. I keep saying it. I should start classes, man.
Oh yeah, man. Just gotta respect her name, bro. But
Absolutely.
oh, yeah, just going back to the penalty. Well, like the foul itself, like without VAR, I saw it with my own eyes, and I felt like it was nothing. But then during the VAR check and and all the angles for the replay, it kind of looked like Yuki was trapped and the defender didn't get a hold of the ball, and I figured that was gonna be a penalty because of that. And at the end of the day, I was okay with it. Not just because we got a goal, but because it was actually a penalty, in my opinion.
Well, good for you. No, just kidding. Hey, it worked out. I was hoping it wasn't going to be a factor where San Diego's going to come back. They're going to score their goal right after an answer, blah, blah, blah. So it worked out. Maria was putting in her crosses, trying to get the ball into the box and find their targets. She wasn't finding their targets as much. You know, she does have 5 assists for them since she's been over there. So she's been doing well on the assist side of things. And I think that's what she's there for. She's not there to shoot. She wasn't there to score goals for us. She just took a couple of colossos for us and made some brilliant ones, but she gets those crosses off. And, then we have Ryan Gary's doing the same thing in return. So I'll take Ryan Gary's over Maria Sanchez right now. But there's still, we got some players, so it'll be. I'm intrigued what our off season's going to bring in. First the GM, first the coach, and then what players we're going to bring in to fill these gaps. Something that we have. And first, obviously we get our GM and our coach, and then we'll kind of start to figure out what kind of style we're going to play and formation we're going to play, and then we kind of know what positions we might need to fill. And I'm curious, man. I like the way this team performs, and then we're keeping that core, and then we're going to let some go, and we're going to have some gaps to fill. All right, we let some C players go. We can bring in some A players, some A minus player, a B plus player. We'll have room to do that. And now with Tim Howard in the house, we can do that. We just signed Zoe Matthews to 2-year contract as a 17 friggin' year old, man, and she was highly touted. It's incredible. So there's a lot we can do out there now with the new CBA. You can go out there and just hunt anybody down you want. And hey, you want to come play for the Dash? Here's our offer. Blah blah blah. You don't have to draft them out of college no more. It's a way to,
Yeah.
if you have a good rapport with a coach, let's say North Carolina, you be like, North Carolina coach be like, hey, I really like this coach over at the Dash. You should give them a try. Go visit them and have us a little extra in, and we just got to finish the sale. So I'm intrigued. I'm looking forward to the end of the season, but we still got 2 games left. One on the road, one at home. OLR Rain on the road, and then back at home to finish the season off against Bay, who's having a great end of the year. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's go have some fun. This is it's been a rocky road, but man, I'm not crying. I'm intrigued, and I'm looking forward to the off season. And I think some of these girls are too. Season's rounding down. 2 more games. Let's survive, no injury. Enjoy our vacation, and then see what the new guys bring in.
Hey man, no, Zoe Matthews. That signing took me by surprise. 6'2", 17-year-old midfielder, man. That's insane. And with I think I mentioned that 2 episodes ago or the previous one, just the fact that we just gotta go young. We need a fresh face for this team heading into 2025. And we do have some good ideas. We're applying some good ideas heading into the offseason and thinking about next year. And of course, we mentioned that all the players that we have resigned already. And this is a great first impression to what the offseason has in store for us, because we've been extremely worried about the GM situation, the coaching situation, how are we going to attract players in? And it kind of looks like Tim Howard is doing his due diligence now. We're attracting players as we have to at this point, because, like you just mentioned, we have to think outside the box now. No NWSL draft anymore, and all these mechanisms that the league had for forever now, they just vanished. and we just have to find ways to build a team now. Like it's not like it's like the usual system where we have to like pick and choose whatever, but we just gotta start from scratch essentially. It's a good opportunity to do that with all the players out of contract this offseason, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And as the season ends, obviously we'll do our end of season dash show, and we'll talk about those players that are leaving, and those players that are staying, and those players that have options still that haven't been hit yet. So we'll talk into it. We'll get deep into it. Literally, almost probably a week after that last game, and we'll get you set up for the off season as well. And when anything happens at off season, we're going to bring it right up. We're not going to go away because it's the off season. They're not playing games, but we still got news to follow and news to report. So maybe short episodes, but we'll keep bringing you some information as long as there's information to provide. But there always is, man. There always is. So
Not always, and yeah, like you said, also 2 games set for the Dash. They do play on Friday night at Seattle Rain, so it's gonna be a late one. But the Dash do good on the road sometimes, and hopefully they get a result here heading into next year. And of course, heading into their decision day back at home in 2 weeks, 3 weeks time. So
decision of what?
look, all just decisions, man, and maybe play
Right.
spoilers for
Yeah,
teams getting into
might be.
playoffs. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yep. Could be keeping Bay out of it when Bay's trying to get in, which would be cool for them to make it in as an expansion team. So yeah, man. So like you said, Dash on Friday night at 9 o'clock, and then you have Dynamo 8 o'clock on Saturday night
Yeah.
at Shell, and then Sunday at 5 o'clock will be Dynamo 2 playing at 5 o'clock again in the Town FC, also known as San Jose. So you have a busy weekend. You have all 3 games, and then of course you have I've got Man City on Sunday morning too as well. So we'll have a soccer fest this weekend like we do every weekend, man. But I'm ready. Another quick episode right here, 32 minutes so far. Getting fun when we just kind of breeze by. But I felt like we gave you some good information in this episode, something intriguing to put your mind off to. And right now, La Hinchada is going off the rails. They're losing their minds. They're going crazy. I think they might little help. And it's just, I think it's in time. And there's no full moon, but the Joker movie just came out, so maybe that's what it is. All the crazy, man, all the crazies, bro.
I heard from
But
people that you shouldn't watch that movie because you're gonna go crazy, but yeah.
yeah, it'll probably fit my mind just right. So I think I'll survive. But those others have been
Yeah.
shot up. They know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about too. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all keep it down. Talk
Yeah.
about something else.
No way, guys. As always, we do appreciate your support, and whatever you wanna get a place to catch all of our content, ko-fi.com/dynamicfoxtrot, ko-fi.com/dynamicfoxtrot. That's the place where we have all of our episodes posted, blog posts, where we're gonna get those resumed, by the way. Obviously, with the teams still on bye week, we weren't able to post those yet, but those are gonna get underway, especially when the postseason comes in. So it's gonna be a busy time, especially in October, man. October, November ball. It's gonna be crazy, but we have a lot of content in the pipeline, man, and just look forward to it.
And for the LA game, real quick before we hang up, like all 4 of us are going to be there. Herman, Foxtrot, Juan, me. We're all going to be there, so we might be doing a little something extra since there's all 4 of us there. And so if we're sitting in the booth during the game, just kind of sitting on our phones, we're not doing our job that game. You come over and yell at us and throw something at us, and we should be getting around and getting into the stands and just getting views and actions and the noise, especially with it being jam packed and possibly going to be sold out. It's going to be crazy. So look for us, help us get some content out there, and we'll get you on YouTube. You'll be YouTube famous in a good way.
Yeah, you can show your parents and your family and friends.
Yep. Show them how drunk you were.
Nah, guys. As always, thank you so much for tuning in and staying real, y'all.
H's up.